This is the story of Mercedes' mom, an Instagram and OnlyFans model who was strangled to death by an obsessive fan. Mercedes Moore was born Janae Gagniam to her mother and father, Mark and Michelle Gagniam. They described Mercedes as a very kind, loving, and gentle soul, and backed up with that, she was a go-getter, such that at a very young age of 12, she could braid people hair in the back of their garage and make money for herself. As she was growing, unfortunately, her parents did have to divorce and move to separate states. Her father did move to Texas and her mother remained in Los Angeles, California. So she ended up having to spend some holidays with her father and also some time with her mother. And after high school, she did complete and pass with flying colors and decided she wanted to go to dental school. But unfortunately, she only spent a year there and had to move to Las Vegas with her boyfriend. And this did devastate her parents. But she did end up making a lot of money from the stripping job that she had. With the coming of OnlyFans, Mercedes decided she wanted to leave the clubs and do her modeling on OnlyFans, where subscribers can only pay a certain amount and should show them premium content. Of course, she equally made a lot of money from that. And with the much money that she had, Mercedes now wanted to start her own business by moving into the clothes and hair business. And so she moved over to Texas in a gated community called Cottage Sugar Lands. Okay. So she moved to this area because it was quite near to her family, her father to be precise, and her sister, London, whom she had always been in communication with. But with being an Instagram model or an OnlyFans model comes with a lot of attention. Of course, with some admirers who could be in a parasocial relationship with you. A parasocial relationship is a type of relationship where only one person is in love with the other. For example, you are in love with a celebrity who doesn't even know you exist. So being a celebrity, being a model comes with such. On 29th August 2021, her father Mark got a call from her daughter London, who was devastated because she hadn't gotten in contact with Mercedes for a very quiet talks to her sister for a moment. So, of course, the father also didn't hear from Mercedes for like 10 days prior to that, and that wasn't something that Mercedes would do. She always kept in touch with her parents, her sisters, her friends, and everybody in her social circles. Also, her sister was worried because Mercedes didn't post any content on social media, and that was unlike of her. So the father decided to go to her place, and when he reached there, he found the door was locked, but he was able to kick it, and the unfortunate thing that no parent would want to see happened. He found the lifeless body of his daughter downstairs. And as he moved up, he found a man who was clinging on to life, stabbing himself with a knife and sharp object. Mr. Mark couldn't even do anything in that moment, and the man was already dead. He did call the paramedics, who came on and declared the intruder dead. On the walls of the house, there were writings with lipstick and blood which said, "I shouldn't have done this. I should have remained in Florida." And the police and Mercedes' family wondered, who is this person? Because Mercedes was in a relationship and they know the man who was in a relationship with her, and the man in her house wasn't Mercedes' boyfriend. With the investigators' investigation, they discovered that this intruder was a 34-year-old man known as Kelvin Akoto, a Florida resident. But how did this man find himself in Texas, and why was he in Mercedes' house, and why was Mercedes dead at this point was what everybody else was wondering. It seemed weird because even in Mercedes' house, there were no signs of forced entry. How did this man get here? So, with Mercedes being an OnlyFans model, of course, she had premium subscriptions for her subscribers, and they could send her money, they could send her virtual gifts, but it is not known if she had a separate PO box, which is a private posting office box where somebody can send you gifts or money. It looks like her address was leaked, and this is how this Kelvin Akota found her. Of course, Mercedes' death came as a shocker to many, for was an untimely death. Mercedes was only 33 years old with a whole life ahead of her. But with this death came on a lot of rumors, especially on the internet, with people claiming she was killed by a sugar daddy, or she died of AIDS, or she died from COVID. But all these were disproven when the news came in and the investigators set the record straight that Mercedes was strangled by an intruder, and none of those rumors were true. She received tributes from people like Drake, Travis Scott. Cardi B even came to her defense because people were literally destroying her name and also destroying and tarnishing other strippers, which isn't right because stripping is a job just like each and every job that anybody can do. I mean, we are all working, we're all selling our bodies somehow to make money, okay? And from the looks of it, it looks like no information or no much information is known about this Kevin Akota, except that this is a man from Florida. And when the police looked him up, he didn't look like he had any other serious previous offenses except driving offenses from the look of it. So in this case that the victim was dead and also the perpetrator was dead, unfortunately, there was no legal consequences because Kevin Akota decided to take himself out like the douchebag that he is for taking a life of an innocent woman, a life of a woman who had a whole life ahead of her. Mercedes leaves behind, of course, her family, her mother, her father, her sisters, her friends who are devastated with this news, and they miss her dearly. She even received tributes from people like Drake, who wrote a post and also dedicated his Playboy album to her, and another Instagram model who was also killed in almost a similar manner as Mercedes. We're going to talk about this model later sometime, so stick around and make sure to subscribe so that you can get this story when I post it. So, what are your thoughts? How do you think people can protect themselves from these fans that are in parasocial relationships with famous people, especially, and so that things like this do not keep on happening? Let me know in the comment section. I'll be reading on those, and don't forget to like, to share, to subscribe, and I'll be letting you more on the stories. It is unfortunate that this had happened to such a beautiful and lovely girl. May her soul continue to rest in peace. Amen.